PBC. Happy Thanksgiving.
Welcome to today's devotional. I was walking through the kitchen yesterday and I came across this picture. It's been on my refrigerator for a few weeks. My 2-year-old daughter, Adeline, colored it at church. And the two characters there are Zachariah and Elizabeth from the book of Luke. And Elizabeth was Mary's relative. Mary, the mother of Jesus, is who I'm talking about. And God kind of interwove their stories because Mary and Elizabeth were pregnant at the same time. Elizabeth actually was the mother of John the Baptist, and Mary the mother of Jesus. And not only were they pregnant at the same time, but an angel foretold the births of both of their children. So really there was a lot in common there, but really there was a lot that was not, because Elizabeth was older, and her husband had not been able to conceive a child. And whenever she became pregnant, she said, "In these days he has shown his favor and taken away my disgrace among my people." So, she just responded with this heart of thankfulness and gratitude because God had answered her prayers. But it's a little different for Mary because, we know that Mary was very young and she had never even been with a man. And I'm sure that this was not what she had planned for her life right now. And I think a lot of times in our lives, when it's going similar to how Elizabeth's situation was, where God is answering our prayers exactly how we asked, that it's easy for us to just be so thankful and grateful. But when it's going more like Mary's situation, where God is kind of telling us that something is going to happen that maybe we didn't ask for, maybe it's not what we had in mind right now, that we easily respond with complaining and discontentment. But Mary did not. Her response when she found out that she would be carrying Jesus was, "I am the Lord's servant. May your word to me be fulfilled." She was willing to do what God had asked of her. And I think that we should all think about that story and how we should respond that way as well. Even if what God is telling us is going to happen or should happen in our lives is not what we had in mind right now, that we should just be thankful to be part of his plan, like Mary was, because we know that ultimately his plan was good. And in Colossians 3:15, it says, "And be thankful. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish each other with all wisdom through psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts." So the message of Christ dwells among us richly when we're singing to God with gratitude in our hearts, not when we are complaining. And that's an eye-opener. This sparks my heart to kind of think about my own attitude of gratefulness and where it is lacking. But in Colossians 3:15 there, before it says to be thankful, do you know what it says? It says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace." So there you have it. We add thankfulness to the peace that rules in our hearts. Paul is telling us to let the peace of Christ rule in our hearts and be thankful. They go together. And in a year like this year, that some feel has just truly been full of suffering, we have to allow ourselves to experience that peace of God, to truly be able to understand what it's like to have a heart of thanksgiving. And even if you might think you have less to be thankful for this year, or maybe you think that you have nothing to be thankful for this year, I hope that you remember that you do, because our God is bigger than everything that's happening right now. And no matter what his plan is for you, he is in control. And, ultimately, we have the hope of Jesus Christ, our Savior, to be thankful for, if nothing else. And sometimes when I feel my heart being overcome with that state of just complaining and, going down that path, it helps me to just stop and either listen to, a song or find a Bible passage that just brings me back to a state of being in awe of him, because it allows me to invite that spirit of thanksgiving back to my heart, because I know that our God is much bigger than my current problems. There's this song by Carrie Job called "Your Nature" that does just that for me. And the words say, you tell the wasteland that it will bloom again because it's your nature. You will restore the years that shame has stolen. You keep the promises that you have spoken. I know this wasteland will be whole again because it's your nature. You bring peace to the war inside us. You speak and all fear is silenced. God, it's your nature. You bring joy to the brokenhearted, hope to the ones who've lost it. God, it's your nature. So this Thanksgiving, I'm thankful to have the opportunity to serve a God who is just that powerful and glorious. So I hope this was a refreshing addition to your Thanksgiving day, and I'll see you guys next time.